Hello, everybody, and I appreciate that introduction, Mr. Roy. I hear a little feedback on my end. I don't know if we're not on mute, if you can go ahead on mute. Awesome. So, Roy, you gave me such an amazing introduction. I don't even think I need to do the elevator pitch. So instead, I know we have a video of a former Project Bridge youth that is still working with us that can actually explain what we do even better than I can or you can. You want to tee that up to give people a real good feel for what Project Bridge does?
Let's do that. Give me 1 second here. We'll see if I can make the technology work.
And while Roy is setting this up, this young man is Lucane Phillips. He's been working with Project Bridge now maybe upwards of 3 years. He started out with Project Bridge, then went through Project 180, and now he's just a part of the team. He's going to be with us for the long term. So it's a really inspirational story, and I can't wait for you guys to see the video.
I was in foster care for a long time. It was ever since I was 2 months old. I felt as if, I was a victim, and I felt as if people were targeting me. It kind of led me through a lot of arrests. Like, I was arrested at school because I didn't want to do things at school but steal. And I was arrested at the group home. I was arrested everywhere. I was going to give up. At first, I thought I was going to be a failure. At first, I thought I was going to die young. Without Project Bridge, I don't think I would have been able to make it. Project Bridge was like that stepping stone I could step on, and they lifted me up a lot. The first thing they did was went research, hey, what are you trying to, career in? And I was like, I like to cook. Where we are now is my college. I come here 5 days a week, 7 hours a day. I am a professional chef. My favorite type of food is soul food. The reason why I like that is because I always loved my grandmother's cooking. I don't got nothing on my grandmother. My grandmother, she's a cook. I have a sense of, helping the homeless. So I want to be able to create my own restaurants, fine dining restaurants, but low income, because a lot of people can't afford things like that. But just to make a family happy is what I'm aiming towards. I feel way better than who I was when I was younger. I've seen change in myself. I used to tell myself, oh no, you don't deserve this. You don't deserve that award. Now I'm thinking, okay, yes, I deserve this. My name is Lucane. I'm 18, and I am a success story.
There you go. Wow. That's exciting, Curtis. And you've got 165 young people right now?
Yeah, so just in Central, we serve 165 a day. That does not even include.
Curtis, I think you're muted. We lost sound on you.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Every day a meeting takes place where I lecture people on the mute button, and now I've just become that person. I am the one. So yes, 165 a day. That's just in Central, Roy. You can add another 140 so with South. All of our youth come out of commitment programs. So what that means is we serve the most high-risk juveniles in Florida. You have a juvenile that may have had a setback and goes into a diversion program or preventative program. And then there's Project Bridge, when we really need to provide some significant intervention and wrap as many positive services around our clients as we can. And that's what we do. Lucane started out with just an entry-level job at a local fast food place, to now fast forward 3 years, he has his own apartment, he's enrolled in college, and he's working at Publix and is going to be a chef. So it's all about let's get these services to you as quick as possible, and then once we help you with that foundation, let's talk about long-term sustainable change. And there there are a lot of success stories that we could talk about to show how that happens. And Luke Kane is probably one of the ones that, no matter how many times I watch that video, is truly inspiring.
Well, we'll get a chance to talk about some of those in a minute or two. But the first thing I want to do is, first of all, say congratulations. Your virtual 5K starts tomorrow. Talk to me about how you're kicking that thing off and how that works. Virtual 5K, what's virtual mean?
What? We would have never thought about doing this 3 years ago, 2 years ago, 1 year ago. So it's interesting, Roy. As you know, we have our annual golf tournament. And this year, because of COVID, we pushed it back, and then we pushed it back again. And after having to change the dates 3 or 4 times, we figured out that we have to figure out a way to be innovative, stay relevant, be creative, and put something else in place. Rory, without our fundraisers, without the annual golf tournament, we do not have the funds to support our discharged youth. So with Project Bridge, when they're currently on our active census, we have what we need. But then when they complete the program successfully, sometimes there's a gap to be filled. And the only way we can do that successfully is with the support of our donors, the support of our village, and to have successful fundraisers. So when we had to face the reality of no golf tournament, it was a really tough decision to make, because now we have to say, are we just going to sit the year out? Or are we going to figure out a way to be solution focused so our discharged clients can still get what they need? And fortunately, I was actually talking to our community engagement supervisor, Hope Cross, and I was running while we were talking this thing out. And she says, "You're running?" I said, "Yeah, I'm running right now." And then there was silence, and she goes, "Virtual 5K. Initially, I'm like, wait a minute, how does that make sense? I want to run in person somewhere. But we talked through it, we figured it out, and fast forward 2 months, we are 1 day away from kicking off our virtual 5K. We're going to kick it off at the Clearwater Marine Aquarium tomorrow. The brand new dolphin tank is where we're going to start. Me and then Keith Gauthier, our other Eckerd staff, we're going to start the run. We're going to run from the Clearwater Marine Aquarium to the beach and back, do a Facebook live stream, really get everybody excited and pumped up about kicking us off. So that's tomorrow. Wish me luck.
People can run anywhere they're at, right? They don't have to meet you at the marina, right?
No, this is a national event. We have people all the way from here to Florida to New York. We have people in Canada and Amsterdam. Everyone is going to use 5 days to run from wherever they're at. Or, Roy, they can walk, or they could swim, or they could slowly skip around the neighborhood. That's not what it's about, Roy. It is about making a difference and getting involved. And we are really excited. We already have about 165 participants. We have a bunch of sponsors. We're going to shout them out on the live stream tomorrow. So it's really been nice to see the village come together and help make sure that we can still host one of these events despite everything going on with COVID.
All right. Now, is it too late? So can somebody go on and register today?
Thank you for asking that, Roy. No, it is not too late. We actually have about 60 medals left that we need people to sign up so those medals will be around their neck. These are gorgeous Project Bridge medals that says Beyond the Bridge 5K. You do not have to run a certain pace or a certain time to get a medal. Anyone who signs up is going to be able to get one of those mailed to their house. But the top 15 winners, they also get some separate prizes. But we don't got to worry about that. Just sign up. We're almost at that finish line, Roy. We're almost right there. So if someone is on here that hasn't got involved yet, please sign up today.
I'm going to sign up today. So I'm going to enter that category, skipping or walking. But I will sign up today. I promise you.
I was going to ask you, Roy, which version are you going to, which virtual version are you going to do? And you're going to do the skip. I like it.
So the skip, I think, is it. You have a skip for a 61-year-old man category. That's the question. I could be the champion in that category.
Yes, you'll be number one.
Oh, well, listen, I want to throw a curveball at you. You ready to hit it?
Let's do it, Roy. I would expect nothing less, sir.
I want to hear your story. I want to hear what makes you tick. I want to hear about your heart. I want to hear how you got to Eckerd. Tell me the Curtis Campogni story.
Okay. I see Stanley smiling and looking. He's like, yeah, we didn't know this question was coming, sir. So believe it or not, Roy, I was a 16-year-old troublemaker. I did not make the best decisions. Some people can believe it, apparently. Had a lot of trouble with school, did a lot of skipping, got into fights. Eventually, I had to drop out and get my GED. I hung around with some people that were also going through a lot. So my adolescent years were filled with some questionable decisions. The good thing is I had really supportive, positive, encouraging parents. My parents always had my back, and I always had a safe place to go. Despite the decisions I made, I had positive role models in my life. I had mentors. So as I got older, I started reflecting on some of my experiences and my decisions that I made. And I thought about those young people that I also were around that maybe didn't have that. So that always stuck in my heart, that there are juveniles out there, there are individuals out there that just need positive support. They just need somebody they can lean on. They just need someone that can help get them across the finish line. And once I found that passion, that was always my passion, whether it was working at group homes. I was a director for the YMCA, whether it's being mentors at our local elementary schools. That is where my drive was. I wanted to give the underdog a second chance. I wanted to be there for them so that opportunity was there. And then through that journey, I found Project Bridge. And I am Project Bridge through and through. I am Eckert through and through. I believe in the mission. I believe in what we're doing. I started out as a case manager with Project Bridge. From there, a program manager to an area manager, and now to this position called director. On a personal note, Roy, since you did ask about personal, I am married to my beautiful wife. Everything's going well, fingers crossed. And I have a deaf dog. So his name is the Watts, Mr. Watson, if you're being formal. And he also has a Facebook account on his own. So if you're interested in being a friend with Mr. Watts, he does not accept everybody's friend request. I don't know what his deal is. He's very picky, but you can give it a shot and see what happens. But that's
he accepted me.
Yes. But that's how I got here today, Roy.
That's neat. That's special. And it's just fun hearing about your journey and just seeing how you can turn your life around and now help others do the same thing. So that is what it's all about. Talk to me about your staff. What size staff do you have? And talk to me about where they're located right now.
So we have Project Bridge all the way from Central down to the Keys in the South. The Central stretches from St. Pete all the way to Brevard. In Central, we have about 37 staff working every day in the community, in the field, from case managers to mentors to GED instructors to career coaches and vocational staff. But the thing about Project Bridge is, Roy, you know that line on the job description that says all other duties as assigned?
Yes, sir.
That should be the mission statement for Project Bridge. So despite we have staff that have their scope, everyone is willing to go above and beyond to do whatever our clients need. And that truly is what makes what we do so special and really touches my heart.
Now, I know one of the things, and I am working on my application for the record, but talk to me about volunteer and mentorship opportunities.
Yes, and I have you down, Roy. You said you're going to be a mentor for us, so we're going to make that happen. So the big thing is, as I kind of talked about with my story and Luke Kane's story, is the more positive role models, the more pro-social individuals you could put around our clients, the more likely they're going to engage in pro-social activities, right? The more antisocial activities they're involved in or antisocial peers, the more likely they're going to make an antisocial decision. So the mentoring component is such a big piece of our program. A mentor with Project Bridge is completely individualized to that person who is getting involved. So what I mean by that is maybe you only have one day a week Maybe you lean heavily on virtual. Maybe you're just a sports fan and you want to help play football with our kids on the weekends. Maybe you own a local business and you want to provide job shadowing opportunities. You can be the mentor that aligns with your passion as well. Whatever your passion is, let's get you in, let's get you cleared, let's get you screened, and then let's match you with the youth that so badly benefit from having you in their life. It's such an important part of our program, Roy.
Well, I know I was excited to you guys let me listen in to just some online mentoring the other week, and speaking opportunities to speak to some of your clients, but virtually. So, that's the other the other thing. It's become pretty critical in your support services, I would guess, is using this kind of technology.
Yeah, it's interesting because when we initially were faced with this challenge of COVID, we're a community-based program. We're used to seeing our kids in person. We're like, well, how is this going to work? But what we found is in crisis, there's opportunity. In change, there's opportunity for innovation. So what we were able to do with virtual is impact more clients at one time with the use of Zoom and WebEx. And what I mean by that is we recently had a money management session where prior to COVID, you might just have 4 or 5 or 6 kids on site taking advantage of this life skill. Fast forward to where we are now, we were able to get 60 individuals on that WebEx to take part of this money management session. Right? You had youth that were in Brevard participating with youth that were in Clearwater, all because we were able to use this virtual platform. So it has allowed us to really find some opportunity that we might have, otherwise not even considered.
Now, I know you've got a normal curriculum, but if somebody, you mentioned money management, if somebody had a unique skill set, especially life skills that they'd like to share, you guys are open to those kind of conversations?
Yeah, we're not even open to it, Roy. We encourage it, and we want it to be that way. If we had recently a mentor come that has a passion for music, so we helped host a virtual music talent show. We talked about the money management. We've had football coaches. We just recently had a job shadow event at an aviation mechanic with an aviation mechanic. They actually walk this young man through the plane, showed him what their job is, all virtually, right? So whatever that mentor's passion is, whatever that partner's interest is, we can use that as part of Project Bridge. There is that line for a reason. All other duties as assigned. Whatever it is, if it could potentially positively impact our youth, you will never hear the word no. You will hear, let's give it a shot, because that's what it's all about.
Wow. Well, that is exciting, for some of our supporters on our call today. If there's some skill set that you have, something on your heart that you'd like to share, when you've got an opportunity online to interact with some kids that would really love to hear from you. So, we're going to give you Curtis's information here in just a little bit, how you can reach out to him directly and get plugged into this program. But that is so cool, Curtis. Tell me about some of the kids. I say kids. They're not all little ones. Talk to me about the age range of the young people you're working with, and tell me some of the stories. I'd love to hear some of their stories.
Sure. So we serve 11 to 21, and when you hear that number, you're probably thinking, that's everybody. It pretty much is everybody. 11. So we get youth that come in that maybe have never even seen a resume before. And then we get youth that just need help getting a trade so they take the next step in their career development. We have young people that have never even considered what it looks like to get their diploma. And then we have youth that might be just one test away. So we really get young people, both boys and girls, all over the spectrum, which goes back to that point of how important it is to individualize everything we do. There is no fitting a youth in just one box. It's all about what are your interests, what can motivate you, what services align with your values. And then once we learn that, let's touch into some of the partnerships we have. Let's tap into the community resources we have and really individualize a plan that puts them in the best position to succeed. A good example of that is recently, and sometimes youth, Roy, it takes a little while for them to find that motivation to change. But this young man, Thomas, over in Polk, he joined Project Bridge at the beginning of the year, 16 years old. He's like, I want my learner's permit, I want my GED, and I want a job. And this is right when the pandemic was in full steam. It hit. We were trying to figure out how to adjust our services. And despite all that, he said, I don't care. I want my learner's permit. I want my GED. I want my job. And he accomplished, yes. And he accomplished all three of those. And the thing that made us cheer the most, that we were so excited about, is when he earned his GED. See, the thing about a GED, Roy, is if we want to get a youth a job, but they could lose that job. If a youth gets a GED, no one can take that away from them. They have that the rest of their lives. So when this young man earned his GED, the entire region was going crazy. They were so excited, so much so we hosted the very first Project Bridge virtual graduation. It was attended by over 40 community partners, DJJ staff, and we even had Thomas's family on there, his dad and his mom, that were able to speak to how far he's come. And it's interesting with Thomas, Roy, because when he first met us, he said, look, I value courage, I value hard work, I value strength, and I value resilience. And now fast forward to October 7th, his courage allowed him to get through all these barriers related to COVID. His resilience allowed him to bounce back from adversity. His strength carried him through the tough times. So Thomas truly is just a success story that reminds us why we're here. And he actually is on track in the next 30 days to be a Project Bridge 180 graduate. So he's going to be one of our first Project 180 graduates of the quarter. So we're going to do some sort of virtual graduation for that young man for that as well.
Well, I have to ask you now, talk about Project 180. A lot of our folks may not have heard of that before. And tell me a little bit about that.
So,
Question.
You might know I get kind of excited about Project 180. So just to recap, our 165 a day in Central are youth that are on our active Project Bridge census, and they're on our census for about 3 to 6 months. But as anyone can attest to that's on this line, when you talk about change, whether it's losing weight or quitting smoking or being, getting healthy, whatever it is, it takes more than just 3 or 6 months. If you want to commit to it and really make that part of your life, it takes a long time. So we realized with Project Bridge, sometimes 3 to 6 months isn't enough. So we created an additional program, Roy, called Project 180, where we stay with this youth for an additional 3 months and then throughout the year to make sure that their change is sustainable, right? And it's all about taking that next step in the development. So what I mean by that is Project Bridge might help the youth get a job at Taco Bell, but Project 180, let's talk about upward mobility. Let's get you a certification that can get you to earn more money. Maybe you want out of fast food altogether. Let's talk about trade school and what you can learn to widen the income that you bring in, not just now, but a year, 2 years, 3 years from now. So you can do some things that'll last, like an apartment, like a car, kind of like what we talked about with Luke Kane.
So 180 is not just about a turn in direction, although it's part of that, but it's also about a timeline, 180 days.
Yes. And that 180 days, something really cool happens that has never happened before Project 180, and that's stipends, Roy. If they do agree to enroll in 180, at the first 30 days of their enrollment with Project 180, they get a $30 check. Not just a gift card or here's some cash. They get actually issued a check just like they were employed by Eckerd, right? Because everything we want to be a life skill to help them prepare them for that next step in the real world, right? So at 30 days, they get a $30 incentive check. At 60 days, they get a $60 incentive check. And I think everybody knows where I'm going. At 90 days, they get a $90 incentive check. And I know what that adds up to, Roy, but for those that need the calculator for a moment, go ahead and take a moment. I'm just joking. That adds up to a 180. So that's why we called it Project 180. And look, we understand that $30 isn't going to change the world, but it is an additional incentive on top of the life skills, additional career education, the additional support that they're getting, just to give them that extra little, hey, we're here for you, we believe in you, we think you could take that next step.
It's as much about the recognition as it is the dollar amount, isn't it?
100%. Absolutely.
Now, how is that? Of course, I'm the development guy, so I'm sitting here thinking, man, Curtis has to need some sponsors that would help underwrite these 180 scholarships.
Yeah. So on a low end, Rory, you're talking about 200 eligible youths per year for Central, and that's not even South. So if it's just Central, you're talking between $36,000 and $40,000 a year to support this youth going through 180. And that doesn't include those potential other needs that tend to come up. For instance, one of our Project 180 youth, he just enrolled in school and he needs a laptop. So we were able, fortunately, because we just recently got some Project 180 sponsorships to dive into those funds, help this youth get a laptop as part of his enrollment in Project 180. But it is a cost-intensive program for sure, but it is so worth it to see these kids get these smiles. And I have pictures, Roy, I can show you, to see these kids with their smiles when they're holding up their check, when they're enrolling in school, when they're getting their first apartment. Like, that's what it's all about. And this affects all of us, right? It affects all of us, Roy. The less people that, or the more people that are employed, the more that benefits everyone. The more people that are engaged in pro-social activities, that just doesn't affect them. That affects the community. That affects you. That affects me. So there are a lot of benefits to making sure our youth stay on the right track.
I love it. As you're talking, and I know you said it, at a minimum, you need about 200 of these 180 scholarships underwritten. But I'm just thinking, you know what? That's close enough to the number 180. Man, let's set a goal and let's spin out of this thing. Let's find 180 sponsors who will each donate $180, to help these young people change their life over the next 180 days. I think all the way around that would be exciting. 180 for 180. So I love that concept, and I know the kids do. It's just got to be empowering for them. Talk to me about, so Timothy, what a great story. I did get to watch his graduation ceremony online. That was so exciting. Talk to me about that. Is there another story you'd like to share?
Well, I wanted, since I just talked about a young man that right out of the gate hit the ground running, if I can just take a couple of steps back, because when we get youth all on ends of the spectrum, and tell you about a story that also kind of reminds me of the importance of planting seeds, if I can, Roy. So our case manager would drive, and we're a community-based program. So before COVID, we're meeting at the houses, we're meeting at their schools, we're meeting at their places of employment, right? So our case manager would drive an hour and a half one way to see this young man. And we would go and see this young man, and we would say, hey, talk to me about the applications you put in this week. And he would be like, oh, I didn't know I was supposed to do that. Okay, well, let's talk about it. Let's do a life skill. We could get this happening together, right? Then the case manager would come back again next week, an hour and a half away. Hey, I know you were going to take the tape test at your local school. How'd you do? Oh, I was going to do that, but I forgot. I had something with my friends. Okay, right? So you talk about over a period of 3 months, staying persistent, staying by this youth side, say, look, I'm here. Let's keep talking about these goals. And eventually the young man just wasn't ready. He wasn't ready to take that step in his change. I swear to you, Roy, fast forward 3 years, all of a sudden his case manager gets an email that says, hey, I just want to let you know I got promoted at Panera. I'm the shift manager. I'm also enrolled in school, and I have a little girl on the way. I just wanted to let you know that. And
they really do have to. They have to come to that place in their life where they flip the switch, don't they?
It was beautiful, Roy, because he in that email, he didn't ask for anything. He didn't say, hey, can you get me this? He just wanted to let his case manager know that he appreciated that that case manager stood by his side, even though in that moment, it took him a little longer to change than maybe Thomas, who we just talked about. But that is Project Bridge, Roy. Sometimes it's right out the gate, and then sometimes it takes a little longer. But either way, our team stands by our youth side through and through.
Yeah, and I'm sure. I mean, this is some young people with some special challenges. I'm sure not all of them land on their feet when they try to make it, do they?
No, and again, I go back. Change is hard. Change is hard, and we got to normalize it too, right? Think about anything that you've attempted to do, and you had some setbacks. Maybe you brush it aside. Maybe you said it's not as important as you initially said it was. It's a long process. It takes a lot of work, and it's most likely to be successful if you have people that have your back and are willing to support you. And that's why we believe that what we're doing is so important.
Wow. Well, that kind of leads me to the next area. I mean, programmatically, what are some of the goals you guys have set this year for the organization and just the strategic direction? Where are you taking things?
Oh, you're throwing the big questions at me today, Roy. I like it, sir. And I am getting a little feedback in the background, Roy. I don't know if we have somebody off mute, but that's a great question. Where are we going from here? So the first thing is we recently just added a senior director position who is Claudia. I don't know if she's on it, but she's going to be focusing a lot on high-level partnerships. We're talking about local, state government relationships, strengthen our community partners, taking our advisory council to that next step. It truly, and I know I've said this a couple of times, Roy, and I know we've all heard this saying, but it does take a village. And with Project Bridge this next year, we have to widen our village. We have to get individuals on this advisory council that truly have a passion and believe what we're doing, who can connect us with different partnerships, who can potentially point us in the direction of a resource that can help success stories like Lou Kane continue to happen. So high-level partnerships and advisory councils, really big push this year. We also want to reduce ODS, obviously. That's offense during services. A lot of that has to do with our front end information sharing and communication. We want to make sure that our partner DJJ is being communicated with as it relates to client risk factors. We have a lot of information about what our clients have in front of them when they come to us. But those things are always evolving. So we put in some hard timelines to respond to these risk factors quicker. We call it rapid response feedback. And we really think this is going to have a good impact on our offense during services and reduce the number of youth that are incurring new charges. A big thing always, and you know, with Eckerd, the vision of where we're going is workforce, right? If our youth can get a job, they become more confident, they believe in their sustainability, they could see past just what is right in front of them, they could start talking and thinking about their future. And I'll tell you, Roy, with South and Central combined, as of right now, only about 3 months in, we have placed 90 kids in jobs. 90. And that is during COVID, right?
Wow, that's amazing.
Oh, 100%. When I pulled that data yesterday, I was just amazed because, you know, when you think about virtual and not being able to drive kids there, whatever it is, there have been some barriers related to this pandemic, but 90 kids have been placed in employment, which is incredibly impressive. We want to continue to expand that and get past just entry-level jobs. We understand that minimum wage isn't sustainable over a year, 2 year, 3 year period. So we want to talk about upward mobility, some high-level certifications. And then like we talked about, Roy, GEDs. It's an education. You get your diploma. No one can ever take that away from you. We all know that with each level of education, it tends to expand the amount of money you can then bring in. So we want to help them get their GED. And then we want to talk about college and trade school. And then finally, Project 180, one of the main reasons that's implemented, Roy, is because we're trying to reduce recidivism for post-discharge. So we don't judge ourselves by what our youth do when they're with us. We do judge ourselves based on what our youth do when they leave us. So that's a big focus for the coming year. Let's try to offer Project 180 to as many clients as we can so they can continue their positive change after Project Bridge.
Wow. So I'm just thinking about Project 180 again. You talk about community partners. I mean, business leaders and entrepreneurs in the community, they could really help you.
Yeah.
And you basically, I mean, you know, when you think about, the cities across the state of Florida that truly could, businesses all over the place could plug into this thing and not only help them with good, qualified, skilled workers, but it really helps to shape the community, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Again, Roy, the less people that are unemployed, it's the better for the community as a whole. It's better for you. It's better for me. Like, we understand that there's values in seeing someone turn their life around in a positive direction that have a long-term effect on all of us. This isn't just a Project Bridge or Eckerd thing. This isn't just someone who just wants to help. This is about creating a better life for you, for your community, for the young people your children interact with, for the opportunities that are available in your neighborhoods. This is good for everyone, Roy. This is such important work, and these young people can turn their lives around. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they've made some really bad decisions in the past. Doesn't matter if they come from a situation where it appears they can't get out of. They can. And I know that because we see it every single day, but it really requires the work of the village. It requires community partners, it requires mentors, it requires donors. Without them, the deck is stacked against our youth, but with them, we have a real chance to make some real positive change.
Wow. I'm still just blown away of 90 young people getting employment during COVID. I mean, you think just the internet use of technology, like what we're using today, does that play I assume it's a bigger role? Are you guys using cell phones or all the above? Talk to me about the technology and whether the kids even have the technology. That was what's going through my head.
Yeah, that's a good question. So what we initially had to do when all this started is do a technology assessment where we had to contact every client and say, do you have internet? Do you have a tablet? Do you have a phone? What resources do you have in front of you, right? If we just stayed the course and said, well, here's your services, figure it out. I mean, that's tough, right? So what we did is we figure out what was in front of us. Once we did that, we then went and purchased it. We went to local Walmarts, local stores. We purchased tablets. We purchased phones. Then we organized deliveries, and we got these services in our clients' hands. And that goes back to the donor piece and the village piece. Look, 165 clients a day, and we have a rolling census, Roy. So there's youth being admitted today and discharged today. It adds up. We're doing a good job, but again, any additional support we can get on that end as well. Something as simple as a laptop can that can move mountains for a young person that's considering getting into school, right? Something as simple as a tablet so they can log on to WebEx or Zoom and participate in a vocational workshop session. Man, that could mean the world. It might seem small to us, but to a youth that's never turned that thing on and logged on, come on now, it's huge. And that's gone a long way with allowing us to be successful. And then the other thing, Roy, for the employment piece, is opportunity. And David Dennis, I believe, he brings up this opportunity cost, right? And a lot of our clients, they lose some opportunities based off some decisions they've made in the past. What we were able to do is find opportunity in the midst of a pandemic. And what I mean by that is, yes, a lot of jobs were lost, but a lot of jobs were created as well. So what we had to do is circle back with our team, revisit our job boards, revisit what technical skills are needed to get those jobs, and then align that with the lessons that we're teaching our clients. And because of that, we were able to tap into some opportunities that were there that maybe our youth wouldn't have known that was a possibility.
Wow. So, I mean, that's a whole nother area. I mean, they could folks on the call could become a 180 sponsor. They could be a community partner and mentor. and they could help us with some of these technology needs. You know, maybe they've got used computers from their company. Even that would go a long way, wouldn't it?
100%. And what's used to us might be the first time that youth has ever held that type of device before. We could get it configured. It could at least meet one of the needs for sure. So if it's used, we will use. So yes.
I have a question,
Hey, shoot, Stanley.
if I may. It won't be a curveball, I don't think, Curtis. So you can rest easy. So you may have covered this already, so forgive me if you did. Are you seeing any other needs come up in the family of those youths that we also can assist with through Project Bridge? So we know computers directly for the youths that are trying to get their GED, that are trying to do schoolwork, of course, with job readiness and mentorship. Is there anything that you see the families need that we also can donate to or support?
Yeah, and you know what? You just brought up a point, Stanley, that I'm wondering if we could talk about potentially like sponsoring a family, because what we're finding with our families in response to this pandemic is some really significant needs occur. I'm talking about possible eviction, not having food in the home, not being able to pay their light bill, water bill. You know what I mean? Obviously, the family, the parents are the main breadwinner that are taking they're taking care of these larger costs, these monthly bills. And when they lose their job or something occurs that doesn't allow them to support those needs, that shakes the whole foundation. You know, Stanley, because you guys do a lot of amazing work in this area in Brevard. If mom can't pay the light bill, if mom's facing eviction or having to bounce from house to house, it is hard to get a youth to commit to, let's complete a certification that'll help you a year from now. Right? We know a year from now matters, but in that moment, there are some really pressing issues. So what we've seen is in response to this pandemic, some very large needs have come up, and some needs that cannot be ignored. So if there's a way possibly for our donors to get involved on that end, I already have my wheels spinning based on what you said. I'm wondering if we can figure out a way to potentially sponsor a family, potentially put some donations there for those large needs that might come up, because we've seen youth that have been doing really well, and then their housing changes out of no control of their own. It can really rock their foundation for sure and stunt that progress towards change.
Excellent. Let me know, especially in our region, we have some program support that might work, some cross support with that.
Absolutely.
That makes a lot of sense. Thanks.
Absolutely. And again, kudos to you, Stanley, for what you guys do in that area in Brevard. It truly is incredible every time I hear about it.
Well, thank you. It's your day, though. Well, absolutely. You guys do great work. We come across so for those that are on the call, your youths, right, are more from the DJJ, Department of Juvenile Justice funnel, whereas our families and youths are more on the DCF, Department of Children and Family side. But people know on the call listening right now that a lot of them are crossover youths and crossover families. So it's definitely not in a silo. We all impact each other, like you mentioned earlier.
And to that point, Roy and Stanley, going back to one of our goals this year is strengthen our advisory council, connecting with local officials. We were able to help with housing in Hillsborough County because we were able to connect with the local social services director that works for Hillsborough County through a separate connection that someone said, hey, have you guys collaborated before? Let me set a meeting, right? Just being able to help us with that partnership allowed a youth to get into housing when they had none, right? So that advisory council is going to be such a big piece for us moving forward too, so we can continue to widen that net in that village.
Yeah, I mean, that really is, I think, a very unique thing in Eckerd Nation right now is integrating these services. When you see someone that, as you guys are talking about, that comes out of juvenile justice transition into Project Bridge, maybe they need assistance with housing, and Stanley's prevention program puts them in touch with somebody else. Then our workforce program helps them land a job. and then they decide, well, you know what, I want to go in and get a license or certification. And guess what? They can apply and get on the waiting list to get into the Job Corps program. And when they get out of there, the great thing is there's a waiting list on the other side of employers wanting to put them to work at great jobs in skilled professions. So it really is really a comprehensive program of helping these young people change their lives. Excellent. Well, Curtis, I so appreciate the time today, man. We have covered a lot of areas. First of all, if there are any questions, just feel free to shout them out or post them in the go to the chat bubble and type them out, and we'll certainly address them. But if somebody wants to reach you, Curtis, what's the best way to do that by email and phone?
You just called me. I was talking to you in the chat box. Yes, my email is good, phone is good. I'll put both in the chat box now.
Excellent. And please, if you've got any ideas, please feel free to, you don't have to go through me. I know some folks have done that in the past. You can, and I'm going to turn around and put you directly in touch with Curtis. But if you've got ideas, want to get involved in this program as either a mentor, a volunteer, a supporter, please just reach out to Curtis directly. His number is 407-702-9809. C. Campogni, and that's Campogni. It took me a little while to get that. When your name is Roy Jones, Campogni is a mouthful, but just great stuff. I'm so excited the next couple weeks. Any thoughts on some young people you might involve in these conversations the next few weeks, Curtis?
Yes, sir. And I'm getting a little feedback. Awesome. Thank you, sir. So we are nearing our first Project 180 graduation. So we have Thomas, who we talked about. Right now, he's meeting with a Navy recruiter monthly because he's going to transition into the Navy. So that's super cool. He said he's going to join us on one of these in the future. We also have Antonio. He recently just connected with Career Source and is tapping into a WIOA college grant to get into school. He's the one that we just purchased the laptop for, so when he gets into college. We also have another young person who might be joining us, Joel. He works at Publix. He just had his first baby girl, and he just got his first apartment. So we're really proud of him for turning it around. And then Ryan in Hillsborough County might be joining us in the next couple of weeks as well. He's a full-time roofer, 30 days away from graduating Project 180, and he's using his Project 180 funds to pay for his driving test. It's another risk factor you might not think about, Roy. It's like, well, everybody can get their license. There's some steps to it when it's new, so there's some costs associated with it. But Project 180 is actually helping him do that. So we're proud of all those young people, and I look forward to having them on one of these future conversations.
That's awesome. Now let me challenge you. Find us a couple ladies too. We don't need all this testosterone on this call. Find us some ladies too. I know some of the programs I've listened into and talked to, the young ladies have just always blessed my heart. So you tell them, the big bald guys, that step up and don't let the guys outshine them.
Will do. Absolutely.
Well, I kind of want to wrap things up here real quick. Just a big reminder, please, tonight at 7 p.m., we're having our Night of Inspiration kickoff. You'll get to hear, Curtis has a role in that, so you'll get to hear him a little bit, but it's really fun. Our big event that's coming up on February 23rd, 2021, all of our speakers have kind of done some are making comments, shortened comments, give us a little snippet, a little taste of what's going to be going on February 23rd. We're going to be giving you the big picture about how you can get involved, how you can sponsor Night of Inspiration, how you can get tickets. It is going to be, it is going to be limited seating. So if you want tickets, you want to sign into Night of Inspiration tonight at 7 p.m., you can go right to Eckert's Facebook page. You'll see it live streaming there. You can like it, and then guess what? You can share it with your friends and family. And so please tune in tonight at 7 p.m. Just a little bit under an hour, but boy, it is going to be worth every minute. You're going to enjoy this, and we've got great music, great conversations, and most importantly, some of the stories of some of our heroes in the program, Success Award winners. You'll get to hear from some of them firsthand. So join us tonight at 7 p.m. Again, it's not too late. It's not too late to get involved in the Project Bridge virtual 5K. I'm going to sign up today, and so you can too. And now if you're 61 years old and want to do skipping for your 5K, stay out of that. Register for something else, because I want to win the prize there, all right? So, but please get involved in Project Bridge. Reach out to Curtis directly. We so appreciate you. Thank you, Curtis, for your leadership, and looking forward to hearing from you and your clients the next couple of weeks.
Thank you for having me, everybody. I appreciate it.
Thank you.